Hello JCA, happy Sunday. It's December, it's starting to get a little bit colder outside and I was planning on making a soup for today to match the temperature outside and keep us warm inside. But I decided to change that up a little bit because I received this vegetable in my Misfits Market box. So you've probably seen me or heard me talk about the fact that I get my locally grown and organic fruits and vegetables from a company called Misfits Market, and each week I can customize the fruits and vegetables that I want to receive, or you can just let it roll and let them send you a box of their own choosing. But regardless, you get this amazingly beautiful, diverse box of all different colors and of fruits and vegetables that are so fresh. They smell delicious and look delicious, and it's my favorite day of the week. So I got this vegetable this week, and honestly, I did pick it out last week when I was choosing and customizing my Misfits box, but I completely forgot what it was, and I have never cooked or prepared one of these before. But I actually have eaten it, so I figured out that it is a daikon. So thank you to those of you who responded to my post earlier today, and you were all correct. So maybe I'm the crazy one for not knowing what this was, but you guys were spot on, and this is a daikon radish. So you may have eaten it in some Asian style, Japanese and Korean foods. They often put it into salads and soups. It is super healthy for you. So I even had to write some notes on all of the benefits of eating daikon. So number one, it's antiviral and antimicrobial. So there you go. It will help you fend off any outside invaders and keep you healthy from viruses and other microbes. Number two, it actually contains the digestive enzymes that our body makes every time you eat protein and other types of foods. Your stomach and your pancreas have to create enzymes to break down those foods. So you may have heard, and you may even be taking, some people do take digestive enzymes as a supplement right before their meals to help them digest some of those foods. So this daikon radish actually contains those exact same digestive enzymes that will help you break down protein as you eat. So that's a huge benefit, really helps with digestion. Number three is that it helps your kidneys eliminate wastes and toxins. So that's a huge benefit. So anybody who has any type of kidney failure, or even just a slight issue, just removing wastes, daikon might be something that you want to include in your diet on a daily basis. What's another one? Oh gosh, then the list went on to anti-carcinogenic and blood sugar regulation and lowering blood pressure and even bone health. And for those of you who are pregnant, it contains the folate, which is something that you might be supplementing with. And actually, if you're pregnant, you should be supplementing with folate, because that is what we have learned will help prevent bifido, I can't even remember the word, but when the baby is born with an issue with their spine. So folate, and that is what this contains. So it's so super beneficial in a million ways. And what I decided to do with it is eat it raw. So instead of cooking it, I am really just gonna grate it, and I'm gonna grate it with carrots and some dates and a really delicious dressing, and it will be a salad for before we eat dinner tonight. So I'm really excited to show you this recipe. Some other thoughts that I wanted to talk to you about is how to make salad dressing, and a really great way of preparing salads for the week. So if you guys ever have a mason jar in the home, or you could easily find a mason jar at the supermarket, it's a really easy way to make salad and keep it ready to go for the week. And then you could just open the refrigerator and grab it to go on any day of the week. So what you would do there is you would put the salad dressing on the very bottom of the mason jar. So that would cover the first layer of the mason jar. Then you would put your starchy vegetables. So not leafy greens, because that would get sort of all kind of mushy in that salad dressing. So use your starchier, crunchier vegetables like carrots and celery, maybe some radish. So that would be that first layer of vegetables. Then the second layer would be your green leafy vegetables. So they won't get mushy because the dressing is all the way separated at the bottom. And then on top of the green leafies, you would put all of your healthy fats or your protein or both. So your avocado, your nuts and seeds, maybe some animal protein that's grass-fed and grass-finished or pasture-raised. Some good hard-boiled eggs is another one. So that's a really great idea to put a mason jar with your salad dressing at the bottom, your starchy vegetables next layer, then your leafy greens, and then your healthy fats and proteins, and then cover up that mason jar, and you're good to go any day of the week. So, and I'm even going to be, when I talk about my salad dressings, I'm going to teach you how many different flavorings you could use, so you could really get excited about eating a new flavor in your salad every day just by changing the ingredients that you put in your salad dressing. So let me get started here, and then we'll get into some of that information. So one thing that I do a lot of times when I'm preparing vegetables is I have a bowl over here of my filtered water. So I do actually filter my water, which I recommend, especially if you live here in Florida and Jacksonville. Our water is, hard water. It does have chlorination in it. So I use a water filter from a company called Berkey. Berkey, and they even have, not only do they have a countertop water filter, but they also sell little, gadgets that you can hook onto your sink, your faucets, your shower faucet, so that the water that comes out of those places are also filtered. So if you have any questions about that brand that I use, certainly comment on this post or send me an email or message, and I can give you the exact brands that I use and even some other recommendations. There's many different companies like that. Okay, so what I was saying is that I keep a bowl of my filtered water right on the counter so that I can just literally drop all of my vegetables right in there. And you may have heard me say this before, but I actually never peel that top layer and then throw away the layer on carrots, because the top layer of vegetables are usually where the most fiber is. They are full of nutrients. So I really hate to, peel off the skin or peel off or grate off that top layer of any of my vegetables or fruits. I really just want to clean them and then eat them. So that's what you're going to see me do here. I'm just going to sort of rub off any dirt or debris that's on the top layer of my carrots, and then I do the same thing for my leafy greens, like kale or spinach or any lettuce that you get. Bok choy I had yesterday, and that can be really dirty down at the bottom of the bok choy. So just cut it in half and let it soak in a little bit of clean water, and you'll see that the dirt just falls to the bottom of the bowl, and then you can take your vegetables out and then get going on your preparation. So I'm going to be doing that with my carrots. I'm also going to be grating my daikon, and I learned this last night that just a really small piece goes a long way. There's a lot of, you know, when I'm just going to be grating it into like little slivers, really just a small piece is enough. So I'm just going to cut off a small piece, wash off the edges. And I'm actually going to go through and show you everything that I'm going to be putting into the salad even before I get started preparing, because sometimes once I get preparing, I don't have enough time to show you everything. So let me just explain it all and then we'll get going. So I have the carrots, the daikon, which I explained to you are super healthy for you. And many times when people eat carrot salad, they put raisins in, but I decided to switch out the raisins and use dates. Now, dates is another food that I would love to share with you how healthy they are for you. Did you know that if and when you're pregnant, after about the 36th week of pregnancy, if you are ready to go and you really want to advance the process and have that baby, did you know that eating a couple of dates per day at the very end, I would not suggest this anytime before you are fully term and ready to go, but eating a few dates at that last couple of weeks will speed up the pregnancy and will, you know, sort of induce you a little bit. And that is because dates have a compound called boron, which affects your estrogen levels and affects your ability to have the baby sooner. So that boron is also really healthy for your bones. So besides being pregnant, just in general, if you are trying to prevent osteoporosis, maybe you've cut out a little bit of calcium from your diet if you're not eating dairy, or for whatever reason, if you have osteopenia and you're just looking to really improve the density of your bones, eating a couple of dates per day can certainly help with that. And besides the fact that dates are full of fiber, really good for digestion, can even influence your mood because dates feed the bacteria in your gut, and those are responsible for releasing serotonin and dopamine and all of those mood boosting components. So I love dates, and I'm going to use those as the sweeter part of my salad instead of raisins. And then lastly, I'm going to be cutting up a little bit of apple. So this is really going to be a sweet and delicious salad with my grated carrots, grated daikon, chopped dates. I haven't decided if I want to grate or chop the apple yet, but I might want to have some pieces in my salad as well. And then finally, I don't want to forget, I have a whole box of pecans, so I think that will add a really good crunch. I love the flavor of pecans. Nuts will add some good healthy fat, those omega-3 fatty acids that we're always trying to increase in our diet. Healthy fat that is important to lower our cholesterol, lower inflammation, even good for brain health. So some really good pecans. Okay, so just to review, my grated carrots, grated daikon, apple, dates, and pecans. But what I wanted to describe to you about salad dressing. So a really good rule of thumb for salad dressing is that you go 2 or 3 parts oil and 1 to 1.5 part vinegar. That's always the base. So that's what I'm going to do here. I have some really delicious, high quality olive oil. I've talked about this before, but Kasandrinos is the name of the brands that I like. You probably can't see that from this video, but I can certainly spell this out to you and for you and give you the website. I order it. It comes in a box with 4 bottles, and it takes a pretty long time for me to get through all that amount. But I do recommend investing in a little bit higher quality olive oil because even the ones that in the supermarket say pure olive oil, they are not always pure. They can be refined and they're not always as healthy as you would like them to be. I actually have a list of the olive oils that were tested for their quality and their purity versus ones that sort of like failed the test. So if you want that list, let me know. I'm happy to share that with you. And there are some really easy, accessible, olive oils that you can buy right at Publix or Costco or one of these places. But this is the one I really love. So like I said, we're gonna do about 2 parts of oil. So let's see, if I do about 2 or 3 ounces, and I'm okay to have some leftovers here, so that's fine. 2 or 3 ounces of that, and then 1 to 1.5 ounces of apple cider vinegar. So that's, here we go. Okay. You can kind of just eyeball it. I do have a measuring cup to sort of help me a little bit, and then of course I'm going to taste it and keep mixing. But what I was going to say is that you can so easily change up these flavors for each day of the week. So I'm using apple cider vinegar because I feel like it goes with what I'm eating today. But you could easily use balsamic vinegar. If you wanted to have a more sort of Asian type flavor, you can use sesame oil instead of olive oil with a little bit of rice wine vinegar. So those are three different flavors just by changing either the oil or the vinegar. So olive oil and apple cider vinegar, olive oil and balsamic vinegar, or sesame oil and rice wine vinegar. So right there, you can change the entire flavor of your food by changing those. And then we always have the salt and pepper. That's always a go-to, but I'm not gonna add those yet because I wanted to say that besides just changing the oil and the vinegar, then you can also change the flavoring that you put into that on top. So right now I'm going to be using a little bit of mustard and honey, but you can also use caramelized onions, let's say, and you can sort of blend those in a little like NutriBullet, like I have, a little food processor, and you can have caramelized onions and oregano. So that's one flavor. You can also have just honey and mustard. You can have, if you're doing the Asian way, like I said with the sesame oil, you can use soy sauce, or I use coconut aminos as my replacement for soy sauce. And some honey and mustard, and that will be that Asian flavor that you're looking for. You can also use dates. I love dates or date syrup. That's another flavor. So there's lots and lots of flavors that you can try and practice with your salad dressings, and honestly making them at home is number one, easy, it's fun, you get to change the flavors. You also, the most important thing about making a salad dressing at home is that you are in charge of choosing whole, unprocessed ingredients. So rather than getting a bottle of salad dressing from the store that has all kinds of ingredients and additives and preservatives and things that may cause inflammation, you are now actually in charge of choosing your ingredients, knowing that you're picking whole, unprocessed ingredients will be much healthier for you and your family. Okay. So I'm going to go a little mustard, probably about a tablespoon. Oh, I didn't even open this one yet. I usually try to plan these in advance, but okay. There we go. So about a tablespoon of mustard. That's good. And about, it's probably a teaspoon of honey. I don't want to make it too sweet, so I'm just going to grab a little bit. Yeah. That's about good. And then, so the salt and the pepper. Now, if you wanted, I did look up lots of ingredients, lots of different recipes for this type of carrot raisin salad. And there were some suggestions for adding things like cinnamon and nutmeg and cumin. So if you really want to go more seasonings, then that's ways to go. I have my cumin and my cinnamon here. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. My husband is not in love with the taste of cinnamon, although cinnamon is super healthy for you. So you heard me talk before about why daikon is good for blood regulation and blood pressure lowering, but so is cinnamon. Cinnamon is something you can add every single day into your diet, and it will help with blood sugar regulation and lowering blood pressure. So if you like cinnamon, go for it. I add it to my coffee, I add it to my smoothies. The more you can get in, the better, because some of the research that shows those benefits are usually using pretty high doses. So if you can eat it throughout the day, that's helpful. Okay, some salt and pepper, and then we might just be ready for tasting. Probably, I don't know, half a teaspoon of salt and pepper, but certainly always start with a little less, and you can always add more. So I hope it's okay with you guys, and I'm about to taste that with my finger. Okay, it's good. I think I also cut up some lemon. So I want to add that in there, and I think it just needs a bit more honey, a little bit sweeter. Okay. Oh, this is going to be so good. And the acidity in this is going to be very helpful because my ingredients are pretty on the sweeter side. So the acidity from the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar will sort of counteract all those sweet flavors, and that'll be really good. Okay. Oof. And then, yeah. Maybe a tiny bit more mustard. I'm not great with exact amounts with recipes, if you haven't yet noticed from all these weeks that I've been doing this. But I do much more of just like sort of tasting and cooking and tasting and figuring it out as I go. So I try afterwards too. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get going on all of my grating, which is going to take me a little bit of time. But I wanted to tell you about a 10-week challenge that is going to be starting at the beginning of January. So we have a month before January, and once January starts, I'm going to begin a 10-week challenge. So each week, we're going to come on here together and we're going to talk about that week's goal. I am so excited about this. I actually should have maybe made a bigger deal about this announcement. But for 10 weeks, each week we're going to set a new goal for that week. And whoever follows through for all 10 weeks and, you know, sort of posts in Facebook and tell me how you're progressing with the challenge, maybe, you know, adding recipes to the Facebook group, showing ideas of ways, and I'm not going to tell you what each week entails right now, but each week I will come on with a new idea for that week and how we can become healthier and healthier during those 10 weeks. And I truly believe that if we can follow those instructions after those 10 weeks are over, that you and your family could become much healthier, because every single recommendation that I make is going to be focused on improving the health of you and your family. I'm going to make each week challenge accessible, realistic, fun, delicious. So I really can't wait for this to start. Like I said, it's going to start in the beginning of January, and for whoever follows through for the entire 10 weeks, you are going to be included in a sort of a raffle, and somebody will win a free nutrition session with me. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, throughout those 10 weeks, I'm happy to answer your questions on Facebook, you know, about our challenge, and to make things, you know, more easy and more accessible to you in your home. So stay tuned for that challenge to begin January 1st. And like I said, you may have a chance to win a nutrition session with me. Okay, so I want to back up and just review what I'm doing here, because just in case I don't have time to finish making this entire recipe, let me explain again what I'm doing here. So I am grating some carrots right now. I have this delicious daikon radish, which is something that you may have heard of and eaten possibly in like a Japanese or Korean restaurant. They make noodles out of it, and there are even recipes to roast these and bake them and make sort of like French fry type things, which somebody posted that recipe for me today, and I'm looking forward to trying it. But it's so healthy for you. Digestion, it has digestive enzymes that help you digest your food. It is antimicrobial, anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory, helps with your blood pressure, your blood sugar regulation, and your bone health. So super healthy food. I am going to be grating this up the same way as I grated the carrots. So I'm just getting started here, but I'll show you at least what it looks like for a minute. And then I have my dates here that I'm using instead of raisins, and dates are super healthy for your bones, your hormones. I mentioned before that if you're pregnant and at the very end of your pregnancy and you're ready to pop, then this will speed up your ability to go. So if you're at the end, I wouldn't start it until you're full term, but a few dates per day at the very end of your pregnancy can really help you get going. And they are also good for your digestion. They're full of fiber, really good for the bacteria in your gut, and then they impact your mood, so serotonin and dopamine and things like that. So super healthy dates. So carrots, daikon, dates. I have an apple here to add some more sweetness and deliciousness, and some pecans for some really good crunch. So I'm gonna put all of this together. I can't wait, it's gonna be so delicious. And then I have my salad dressing here. So I was explaining that a good rule of thumb when you're making salad dressing is to do about 2 to 3 parts oil and then 1 to 1.5 part vinegar. You could certainly play around with that, but at least that's a good baseline. And you can change just by changing the vinegar or the oil that you're using. You already can change the flavor of the entire food. So here I'm using apple cider vinegar and olive oil, but you can certainly use balsamic vinegar. That would change the flavor. You can use sesame oil and rice wine vinegar, and that would change the flavor completely. And then besides the salt and pepper, you can add things like a mixture of honey and mustard. You can add caramelized onions with balsamic vinegar and oregano and garlic. You can add, what was the other one I was thinking before? Dates. You know, either blended dates or date syrup. They sell that now in the store. So just by mixing up your types of vinegar, your types of oil, and your additional, sauces, things that you add afterwards, you can really change the flavor of your whole food. And a great idea for a pre-prepared salad, easy to go during the week, is to use a mason jar. Put the salad dressing at the bottom, put the starchy vegetables next layer, so carrots, celery, some really crunchy vegetables that can absorb the dressing and not get sort of mushy. And then the third layer would be your leafy greens, which is sort of separated from the dressing. And then finally, your healthy fats and proteins. So avocado, nuts, hard-boiled egg, whether it's grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chickens or something like that. But again, salad dressing at the bottom, starchy vegetables, leafy greens, and then your healthy fat and protein. Close up that mason jar and then grab it and go any day during the week. And by changing these flavors, the way I described with the salad dressings, you can be excited about eating something that tastes different every single day, and so you might not get as bored with eating those kinds of things. So that's a really great idea. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep going here with my daikon. I had mentioned that a little goes a long way with this daikon. I noticed that last night. I cut up just a little piece of it and grated it into, oh gosh, last night I stir fried it with another vegetable that came in my Misfits box, which was broccoli leaf. So I had broccoli leaf, which kind of looked like a little bit like chard or kale. That's kind of what it looks like. So I sauteed that with daikon, some garlic, and some ginger. And then I did that in sesame oil with my coconut aminos, which is the replacement for soy sauce. And so between the sesame oil, the garlic, ginger, and some coconut aminos with my sauteed daikon and broccoli leaf, that was delicious. It really was a delicious, like, some kind of mixture of such healthy ingredients. Love it. So, you know, it's super, super helpful to choose new ingredients and new foods that you've never had before. Because I know it's so easy to get into this kind of routine of eating the same things all the time. But what happens then is that you could be missing out on a nutrient that you never get to eat. So each color of the rainbow represents a different vitamin or mineral that your body needs. And the more you can try new foods and include new colors in your diet, the more that you are ensuring that you're getting all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. So it is very helpful that if, like, let's say you're eating sort of the same things for 2 or 3 days in a row, that on the 4th day you choose something different. So like if you haven't eaten a lot of purple foods in a while, then maybe it's about time. So that's another really good tip about when you're in the supermarket. Not only is it important to choose your whole unprocessed foods, which is what we're doing here. We're cooking everything from scratch. We know exactly what ingredients are going in our food. They are all whole, the way they were found in nature, and unprocessed. But then the second thing we're doing is we're getting foods of all different colors. And so we're getting all the different nutrients that our bodies need. And so sometimes when we are experiencing things like fatigue or, you know, an unhappy mood or something, it could be that you haven't been getting a certain nutrient, a certain vitamin or mineral that your body needs to create those hormones that keep us happy or to give us energy. So that's what I would suggest, is try looking into your diet as your number one investigation when you're not feeling yourself, you're not feeling well or great. Start thinking about what you can do in your diet to make it healthier. A lot of times we rush to taking a medication or, you know, seeking the advice of a doctor, and sometimes all we need is just a healthier diet. So whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables of all different colors, lots of good fiber, lots of healthy fats. So think about that as your first step when you're not feeling your greatest. All right, well, I think I'm about time now. So like I said, I'm gonna finish grating up my carrots, my daikon, my apple, my dates, pour in my dressing, and add in my pecans. And this is gonna be a really delicious and healthy, and like I said in that message, easy to go meal. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment and let me know what information you're looking for. I'd love to make sure that I'm meeting your needs. Stay tuned for that challenge that starts in January. I really can't wait for that, and you can have a chance, if you can make it through that 10-week challenge with me, not only will you and your family become healthier, but at the end you will also get a chance to win a free nutrition session with me. So stay tuned for that challenge. And in the meantime, if you want to sign up for any nutrition packages, check out the JCA Jax Fitness and Wellness website and look for nutrition services to see all the different possible packages that you could purchase. So I hope to meet all of you guys at some point, and I hope this was helpful. See you next time. Bye, everyone.